June 11th, 2025, a date that will not be forgotten by millions of BTS fans around the world. In an event that triggered a wave of extraordinary emotions, Jimin and Jungkook, two of BTS's most beloved members, finally completed their military service. No warning, no grand cue, just one reality that instantly swept across social media in minutes. They were free. Is this a sign of BTS's full return? Or is there an even bigger surprise waiting behind the scenes? The world stood still, and ARMY cried. They walked out of the 5th Infantry Division military base in Yongkyon, Gyeonggi Province, with calm but meaningful steps. Jimin and Jungkook wore full uniforms, got into a black van, and stepped into the world that had been waiting for them for the past 18 months. There was no heavy security or excessive celebration, but it was precisely that simplicity that made the moment so heart-stirring. Tears, joyful screams, and tense silence blended into one among a sea of cameras and waving hands of fans. Jimin, with his signature calm smile, sincerely expressed his gratitude to ARMY and all parties who supported him during military service and the pandemic. He said that this time gave him space to reflect, grow, and plan something bigger for the future. The phrase "big picture" he mentioned instantly sparked wild speculation among fans. Is this a hint for the next solo album? The latest BTS project? Or maybe something never imagined before? Meanwhile, Jungkook appeared with his signature aura, calm, honest, and slightly awkward. He admitted to feeling nervous appearing in front of the camera without makeup, but still tried to smile. This simple remark touched fans even more. Not because of his words, but because the fact that a global star like him still carries such a warm human side. He respectfully mentioned his military colleagues and expressed pride in completing his duty thoroughly. But the most touching moment wasn't when they spoke, but when they laughed together. A light, shy, yet meaningful laugh that felt so honest and intimate. In an instant, all of ARMY felt that Jimin and Jungkook were still the same people they knew before enlistment. Warm, humble, and full of love for fans. ARMY's reaction was extraordinary. Tears of joy, loving comments, and thousands of viral posts capturing the moment spread across every social media platform. Jimin and Jungkook's return also created a wave of major international news coverage. Reuters stated that the return of these two members marked an important milestone toward a full BTS reunion. Associated Press reported that only one member remains in military service, Suga, who is scheduled to complete his social duty on June 21st. This fact made speculation about BTS's full group comeback highly realistic, perhaps just weeks away. Now, 6 out of 7 BTS members have completed their military duties. Jin, J-Hope, RM, and V had finished theirs earlier. Now with Jimin and Jungkook back, all eyes are fixed on the final piece that's left. Suga. ARMY from all over the world await that moment with extraordinary anticipation. But today, June 11th, 2025, is not just a regular number on the calendar. Today marks the beginning of a new chapter. And that chapter begins with 2 names, Park Jimin and John Jungkook. South Korean media also noted that although there was no massive press conference, this discharge moment still became one of the most spotlighted events of the year. Many acknowledged that their appearance felt so grounded, different from the expectations of world-class celebrities. In silence, they conveyed a big message, that even stars can bow to duty and shine even brighter afterward. Interestingly, ARMY didn't just show emotional support, but also symbolic gestures. Large-scale welcome projects had been prepared in various countries. From giant banners on skyscrapers to charity donation projects in the names of Jimin and Jungkook, this was not just a personal moment. It was a collective celebration of a global community that has grown with BTS for over a decade. Their return marks the end of a long wait, but also the beginning of something greater. Will they head straight back to the studio? Will the latest BTS project be announced soon? No one knows for sure. But one thing is undeniable. The world is watching, and millions of hearts are pounding. Not just out of curiosity, but from love and hope that has built up for so long. For many armies, this moment is not just a military discharge. It is proof that commitment and love can endure through time, distance, and uncertainty. Jimin and Jungkook have completed their service with integrity and sincerity. And now, they return, not just as idols, but as symbols of hope and unity for millions of people. Right now, the world can only wait with bated breath. But if there's one thing that's certain, It's that the world stage isn't finished with BTS. In fact, it may have just reopened. However, behind the seriousness of the discharge moment, there were funny things that instead became the world's focus and made millions of ARMYs not only cry in emotion but also laugh while clutching their chests. It began when Jimin and Jungkook stood side by side in full uniform, receiving bouquets from military representatives. Instead of striking a proud pose as usual, they instinctively covered their faces with the large flower bouquets. Moments later, they chuckled, glanced at each other, and tried to suppress awkward expressions. But precisely because of that, their shy faces broke the silence and drew small cheers from the on-site staff. The laughter didn't stop there. When the camera zoomed in, Jungkook was seen slightly tugging at his uniform, trying to cover his neck, and softly whispered to Jimin. Though the voice wasn't clear, his gestures seemed to say, "I'm not ready to be photographed." Jimin, standing beside him, could only laugh while bowing his head. A few seconds later, they stood stiffly at attention, but their faces were still filled with shy smiles they couldn't hide. Even funnier, when a media staff tried giving directions to take pictures from the right side, Jungkook stepped to the left instead. Instantly, Jimin lightly tapped his arm and signaled, "Not that way." This little quirk, though simple, quickly became a warm joke in ARMY forums. Some even compared the moment to two schoolboys nervous about being photographed for a yearbook. One viral video showed Jimin trying to fix Jungkook's hair blown by the wind. Instead of looking neat, his touch made Jungkook's hair even messier, and they both burst into giggles again. ARMY called the scene a moment of chaos in military precision, as it happened amid the formal discharge atmosphere. Some fans even described their style as anime characters returning from another world. Shy, but adorable. Also catching attention was Jungkook's honest comment on camera, "It's been so long. I feel weird being seen without makeup." This sentence triggered a wave of fan responses, who rushed to defend Jungkook's natural visuals and stated he still looked charming without any makeup. On Twitter, funny hashtags like #NoMakeupNoProblem and #JiminJungkookBloom again dominated trending topics for hours, but on the other hand, Jimin also unintentionally sparked laughter when he mistakenly mentioned the wrong year in his speech. He said, "Thank you for waiting for us since 2023, or 2022. He immediately laughed at himself, tapped his forehead, and apologized with a wide smile. The spontaneous moment was captured on camera and became a favorite meme shared thousands of times by ARMYs in various countries, not only through expressions and words, but their body language throughout the discharge process also showed many adorable moments. When moving from the welcome area to the vehicle, they walked side by side but not in sync. Jimin tripped over a small rock, and Jungkook, noticing it, instinctively held back his laugh while extending a hand. Jimin quickly regained balance, then lightly bumped Jungkook's shoulder in return. That small interaction was caught on camera, showing their unchanged chemistry since debut day. Fans' reactions varied, from innocent comments like, "Oh my god, they're really still kids," to emotional ones like, 2 years of waiting, and they showed up hiding behind flowers? I laughed and cried in one breath. Amusingly, some ARMYs created compilations of their funny expressions in edited videos with comedy background music, which spread across TikTok and Instagram within hours. Another silly moment happened when they were about to re-enter the van. Jungkook, being taller, bent down too low while entering, even though the door was tall enough. Jimin, noticing it, couldn't help but laugh and quietly said, "You don't have to enter like it's a cave." That line was picked up by one reporter's microphone and again sparked a wave of funny comments on social media. Despite the simplicity of the event, it was these funny and spontaneous elements that strengthened the emotional bond between Jimin, Jungkook, and ARMY. They didn't just come out as grown men who had completed their national duties, but also retained their true selves, nervous, shy, pure, and sincere. This is what made ARMY feel as if time never passed. 2 years have gone by, but they are still the same Jimin and Jungkook, genuine, warm, and full of sweet surprises now. All eyes are on the next step they'll take. But one thing is certain, the funny moments when they stepped off the military stage will live on in ARMY's memory, not as an end, but as the opening of a more colorful new chapter.